Hello, welcome back to the land of Kakiak. I'm Laurel. I wanted to talk to you today about how I fill holes and build scaffolding curriculum for my three boys. Okay, so the first resource I wanted to show you, I use more with my older son right now, who is in the 6th grade, just because there's more holes for fill and things for me that kind of pop up as we go along in the Robinson curriculum, which is actually I feel like the perfect curriculum for exposing a student's weaknesses. I guess maybe you have to be an RC parent to know what I'm talking about, but you just clearly can see what they need help in. It doesn't matter what level they are, or what grade, or what age. It really doesn't matter. When you see a skill that needs to be built up, you just address it. And I feel like what I'm mostly seeing this in is language arts. And so yeah, so for him, he was public schooled through 3rd grade. And the pandemic happened, there was no education going on, then I had to go through, box curriculum nightmares before I was saved by RC. But what I find myself, something really helpful for him is this. It's the complete middle school study guide, everything you need to ace English language arts. And it has 4 units: grammar, language, reading fiction, and reading nonfiction. And they have, he likes the look of it. It's like looking in somebody else's notes. So I found this really helpful, that when, there's something that he is weak in, that we can find it in here to address. And I think this is worth just having them read. So he actually just picks this up and just reads it, and when he gets to these check your knowledge spots, I'll ask the question, and we'll just do an oral check-in. And it reminds me, it's similar to my style that I use my, I have my bookmarks, my grammar and comprehension check-in bookmarks that I use with the McGuffey readers. Same type of thing, right? So he didn't get the benefit of the McGuffey readers and all that because he was in public school, but the younger ones do. So the thing that I keep on hand for the younger ones is this Harveys Elementary Grammar and Composition. This has been super helpful. I think that, around 2nd grade, I think, doing the gentle grammar is really great from Mom Delights, and I'll link that down below. I'll link all these resources down below for you. And it's free, but this is really good to have on hand as a reference resource, and it's very affordable. You can do activities in this book, which I do plan on having my younger 2 do. Because you can just get a notebook, do the activities. This is really easy, just very readable. And there's a teacher key you can get. So I like that it's non-consumable, and you can just have it on hand. And we do grab it and look at it and read out definitions if you don't know what something is or exactly how something is put together. I like it because it shows you how logical English is. And so if you just get that basic building blocks straight in your mind from a young age, it's just going to set them up for success. Okay, the other strategy I have, so those are good references to have to just quickly grab to fill holes or look for the next step in the process of writing and stuff like that. The other thing I do is bonus files. So I have one for Everett, one for William. So this is where if I buy resources or download free stuff, just whatever I need, and it's things that are outside the Robinson curriculum. You may have an eclectic homeschool or any type of curriculum, but if you find that your child needs something, especially if you're doing you have those curriculums that are just 6th grade, 7th grade, 2nd grade, 3rd grade, and you just get, your child, if they miss something or if they're past something, you have to wait. It's just a waste of time. I just feel like it's a waste of time. So it doesn't really matter to me what grade level the skill is. If you see that they need it, or if you see that they're ready for it, then it's time. Why waste our time waiting or going or repeating stuff that they already know? Okay, so I'm going to turn the camera down so you can take a look through the bonus files with me. Okay, so we looked at Harvey's elementary grammar and composition. I'll just give you kind of let you look at the inside of it real quick. Copyright 1880, tried and true. Starts with objects, definitions, language, the sentence, sentence making, quotation marks, parts of speech, the noun, number, abbreviations, contractions, elements of a sentence, analysis, composition. There's a picture. Anyway, so you're going to be able to find what you need, and maybe more than what you need even. The other one was this one, the everything you need to ace language arts. Looks like this on the inside. Here's the table of contents. So grammar, unit 1, language, unit 2, reading fiction, reading nonfiction, right? And so you could use this however you want. Like you could break this down. You could do grammar for a whole year. Say, 4th grade's grammar, 5th grade is, or 6th grade is language, 7th grade is reading fiction, nonfiction, right? And then writing unit 5, which I think we're going to use, I bet you we're going to use it a lot. But yeah, he loves this book. There's the check your knowledge, right? So it even gives you the answers if you want to work with them. For that, they talk about Latin and Greek, affixes and roots, so that's super helpful if you don't already have a curriculum for that. But even if you do, it's nice to have something that reinforces, that you can open this up with your lessons on Greek and Latin roots, right? Okay, so those were those. But to my bonus file, so Everett's bonus file, it's going to open it up and show you. So right now, I wanted him to learn about some nonfiction stuff, because we're mostly reading fictional texts, right, on our book list. So these are just short. You could do, 2 or 3 of these a week, and it's going over the different text structures. So there's description, there's chronological or sequential writing, and there's there's cause and effect, problem and solution. So there's a mentor text, and then they'll have some kind of worksheet to fill out to go along with it. And it comes with the answer. So you can check this with them, or they can check it themselves when they're done. They can tell you when they're done. You can give them this, or you can give it to them all at one time if you want. But whatever allows them to be more independent is great, which I think this resource does. This is a Teachers Pay Teachers resource, and I'll link it down below. Compare and contrast. So these are kind of writings that they could be using in their essays. And it also will help them to have better reading comprehension when they're reading these types of writings. They'll right away be like, oh, I'll be able to tell right away that it's a description piece or a sequential piece, right? So we're working on that one right now. And then tips for the teacher. Oh, it came with some tips for the teacher, and then there was a whole bunch of it. It was a really big resource. It came with a bunch of tests and stuff that you can do. So I just put those all together. Here's the answer key. So yeah, they came with a bunch of stuff. I don't know if I'll do all the testing and stuff like that. But I could if I wanted to. The other one, this was more interest-based, but he's always been interested in the Titanic. So there wasn't a resource about that, but they're using it for as a language arts resource. So I did get this just because he's interested in it. It's a different type of writing. It's a historical event that he's always been interested in. And it introduced, if you haven't introduced them to glossaries, it has this little glossary because it's a little mini book that you can put together, an index. And there's a guide that goes along with it that you can talk to them about and point these things out as they go. Or they can, you can give them the whole thing and they can study it themselves. So anyways, that's another one I have in there for him. And I just think he'll like that. I think it's the same thing, just in big form. Then it comes with a test too, to see what kind of reading comprehension they got out of it. And it comes with a key, right? And it has a little teacher's guide for you. And these are articles from actual survivors, maybe introducing them to maybe memoirs or, first person accounts. right? Margaret Brown. I always remember her from Titanic because she was like the best. She was my favorite character in that movie. Jack Thayer, yes. And then, so multiple accounts. So there's, from different points of view, they could say what was happening to them, right? So, yeah. Again, these are all just optional. This is something that we actually already completed, but I'm just saving it because I'll probably go on to the next one. The author's purpose. This packet is a culmination of some different resources to practice author's purpose and point of view, right? So if you want to introduce first, second, third person. And I think I just read this through with him and kind of just talked about that. This was just a very small resource. This may have been a free one, but I do think it's important for them to know the author's viewpoint, their point of view. And so that was an intro, and then I haven't got to this yet, but it says grades 4 through 5, but he's in 6th grade, and this really hasn't been adequately covered with him, and it'll help him read and understand more complex literature as he's going, and it might help him to write his own pieces, So this came with, it was like, look at all this. I mean, it's all single-sided print, but identifying first person point of view, then third, then they compare texts, identifying the narrator, writing from a specific point of view. So they'll practice writing from it, like they'll read a piece from one point of view, and then they practice writing from a different point of view within the same piece. So, and then here's the table of contents. Okay. And small group stuff, I mean, that's perfect for doing like with your kids, like the two of you. Okay, so what does this look like? All right, a bunch of cue cards, or activity cards, graphic organizers. So they can like do this stuff, they can fill it out and they can put it into their notebook or into their composition book or whatever. Or they could just fill it out like this and keep it in a binder. Or they can throw it away or whatever. Who is telling the story? How does the point of view affect the story? From what point of view is the story told? What evidence from the story supports the point of view you wrote? Who is the narrator? What evidence supports the narrator? I like how it's asking for evidence. That's good, like logic building. Yeah, I like them to be able to synthesize data, information, so it's easier to analyze. That's, I think, an important life skill. I find myself doing that, like, actually quite a bit in real life. And they think they just give them a bunch of them. Same date, different point of view, right? Is this some kind of Venn diagram? Okay, so anyways, I thought this would be really a good, exercise to have. I think you'd enjoy it too. I want everything to be enjoyable. So that's what I have in there so far. But I mean, your bonus file could be really anything you want to. I mean, it doesn't have to be English, stuff. It could be, I don't know, health related, or I don't know, anything that you think that they need. Could be art, So Will's bonus file, see, what do we have in here for William? Oh yeah, he's got some math. So subtraction games. So this would be going, if he's past subtraction, but it's in here. So I really like these no prep math games that I put them inside, I put them inside these like envelopes, like I just slide them in there so that we can play them with dry erase pens and stuff. So this one's going to be passed on to, Beauregard. And then right now his multiplication, we have one in multiplication, but he's using it, so it's with his math stuff. But next would be the division game. So when we move on to division, I'll swap out his games for the division games. These are all really affordable. And then, we did this one already. It's the Three Little Pigs, Fact and Opinion. This was super fun. I really like this resource. So I just got them all. I just have them all prepped out. They wrote the Three Little Pigs. So you would read that to them. And then you cut out these fact or opinion, like brick houses are my favorite. And then you go, is that a fact or is that an opinion, right? So it's helping them differentiate between fact and opinion, which is a very important skill to have when you are reading information. And then there's an answer key in case they were old enough to do this on their own. Like, so I did this with William 1st and 2nd grade. It kind of went over the two because I didn't have it at the beginning of the year. I got it towards the end of the year, so we finished it up this year. And this was really fun. I actually had Everett was older, but he sat in on it, and it was good for him to have that practice too. And you know, even little Bo, he's a toddler, he liked to listen to the stories. So quotations and dialogue notebook. I picked this up at some point, but I don't know that I'll I don't know if I'll use it. It's teaching them how, because I've talked about quotations and dialogue within the McGuffies. We just talk about it as we go. So I don't know if I'll really use this resource, but I got it at some point. I have a feeling that the Gentle Grammar will probably cover this. And then punctuation, capitalization and punctuation too. Table of contents. So, yeah, this is another one I picked it up. I picked it up at some point. It's got the capitalization rules. But I don't know that we'll really I don't know that I'll need it because I think the Gentle Grammar will cover it, you know. I was having technical difficulties with my phone, which I'm filming on, in the front room. So I'm bringing it to the kitchen so I can plug it into the good charger. You could do anything in these bonus files, anything your child is interested in. There could be, you know, art projects that they'd be interested in doing. I just want to make sure we're through the 3 R's, the core of our curriculum or sometimes it's nice because I alternate science and history units with them. So sometimes it's, especially if you think there's something in the bonus file that you want to get to, but it's kind of time consuming, then you might want to just, when you are between units, I might schedule in to do that bonus file resource with them, just because I don't want to put too much on their plate, you know. Okay, so those are my strategies for filling holes and getting ahead of the curriculum, seeing it down the road. I know I'd like to add this in, you know, so I just get it ahead of time, put it in the bonus file, and I just wait for the time to come along, you know, to pull it out. So what do you do to fill holes, or do you do anything similar? I'd like to hear if you have any favorite kind of bonus resources or activities that you do. Leave them in the comments down below so we can all check them out. Thanks.